Good afternoon and welcome to the Council meeting for Glenorchy City Council on Monday the 28th of April 2025. My name is Sue Hickey. I'm the Mayor of the Glenorchy City Council and Chairperson of this afternoon's meeting. We acknowledge the Muwinina people as the traditional owners of this land. We recognise the Tasmanian Aboriginal people as the original owners and continuing custodians of the land, sky and country and waters of this island, Lutruwita. We pay our respects to Aboriginal elders past and present, and we commit to working with Aboriginal people and Torres Strait Islander people in a way that welcomes them. Joining me here in Council today is Alderman Tim Marks, Alderman Peter Lidler, Alderman Justin Stringer, Councillor Molly Kendall. We have our Deputy Mayor Russell Yaxley. We have our CEO Tony McMullen. We have Alderman Stephen King, Alderman Stuart Slade, Alderman Josh Cockshott and Alderman Shane Alderton. Thank you. Before we open our agenda, I take this opportunity to make a statement about workplace health and safety. Glenorchy City Council takes workplace health and safety seriously, and this includes physical and psychological safety. We have a duty to ensure that a safe workplace is provided for our employees and elected members, contractors, volunteers and members of the public who may be present at Council's workplaces. Council meetings form part of Council's workplace, and it is expected that everyone who attends Council meetings will behave in a polite and respectful manner. Council has endorsed a statement of intent setting out how we, as elected members, have agreed to conduct ourselves in representing the people of Glenorchy. In accordance with this, any disagreement should be expressed respectfully, remembering both during debate and decision making that we are elected to represent and serve the people of Glenorchy and to make our city the best it can be. Finally, I note that in the open section of this meeting, we are recording and live streaming this Council meeting, and an audio-visual recording of the meeting will occur in accordance with Council's recording of Council meetings policy. Members of the public are not permitted to make audio or visual recordings of Council meetings. We have 18 items on the agenda this afternoon, and Agenda 1 is apologies. And I don't believe we have any apologies. So item 2 is confirmation of the minutes of 31st of March 2025, moved by Alderman Slade and seconded by Alderman Riddler. Do you have any discussion?
I'll get to add to those minutes, Mayor.
Any further discussion? No? I put the motion. All those in favour say aye. Raise your hand. Thank you. It's carried unanimously. Now, item 3 is announcements by the Chair, and I do ask you to just bear with me because they're a little lengthy today. The pool, repair and reopen. Tonight we will discuss the tenders to repair and refurbish the pool in closed council due to the commercial in confidence nature of the tenders. I know there has been concern expressed about this and the Golden Years Club expression of interest process being discussed in closed council. These issues both have commercial in confidence issues because they include confidential information about the organisations who have either tendered for the pool repair or who have expressed an interest in taking over the lease of the Golden Years Club. So we're simply obeying our law. We are not hiding anything and we are not breaching any local government regulations, but rather we are bound not to disclose confidential information relating to businesses or organisations. Once we have agreed on the preferred tenderer, council officers will commence contract negotiations. As soon as the contracts are signed, we will provide details and timelines to the public. The next item is redevelopment of the pool. Our funding advocacy has continued throughout the federal election campaign. Our clerk candidates have all reported that they received many letters of support for the pool funding from the community, so thank you to everyone involved in that. I have recently sent another letter to all election candidates, senators and mayors from our neighbouring councils. If we don't secure the funding this current election, we will not stop lobbying for the funds to redevelop the pool. We are working on a funding advocacy plan to keep the pool at top of mind for politicians and candidates into future state and federal elections. We will continue to work with community to let you know how you can support this ongoing advocacy program. Now, the Golden Years Club. Tonight we will also discuss the expressions of interest received for the tenancy of the Golden Years Club building. As mentioned, this discussion will also happen in closed council due to the commercial and confidence information contained in the submissions. We will advise the public of the decision as soon as possible following tonight's meeting. Collinsvale Market. It was disappointing to hear that yesterday was the last market to be held at Collinsvale by the current organiser. I would like to stress that this was a decision made by the organiser and not by council. I would also like to clarify that council has not made any changes to fees or conditions relating to this and any other council-owned property that we hire out. The only change has been the installation of a new lock system to ensure greater efficiency. This new system means that people must now book for the specific times that they need to access buildings, which allows council to accurately charge for the time these facilities are being used. Council remains open to discussions with any individual or organisation that wishes to hold a market at Collinsvale. They will be able to do so under the same fees and conditions that apply to the current market. And the next one is antisocial behaviour. I am saddened and shocked, as you all must be, at the disturbing incidents in Glenorchy CBD recently. None of these incidents have been acceptable, and I know the young people involved are being appropriately dealt with by the police. As a matter of priority, Council has had a briefing from the Tasmanian Police today in relation to media commentary around these incidents. I've also taken a call from Minister Felix Ellis. We remain committed to work closely with the Tasmanian Police and support their efforts in addressing antisocial behaviour and crime in our community. Meanwhile, Council is actively working to engage with the young people of Glenorchy. Our hard-working community teams are implementing best practice youth engagement activities as part of our role in an issue that confronts many communities all around the state and the country at the moment. We have also installed additional security cameras, employed additional security staff, ran round tables for business and stakeholders to develop strategies, and continue to invest in infrastructure such as the mountain bike park and the new skate parks at Montrose Foreshore and Windermere Bay. Council believes that as a growing city we need a youth hub, a dedicated space where young people can access vital services and support, providing them with positive engagement and pathways. I want to assure you that Council and I and all of the elected officials are working tirelessly to identify the right location for a youth hub and secure the necessary funding to establish and maintain this much needed facility. There has been some discussion about utilising the Golden Years Club as a youth hub. However, the advice that we have received indicates that this location is not suitable. Instead, it should remain a space for the broader community. If the state or federal governments come to our aid, we can have the best of both worlds, a dedicated space for young people to seek refuge and get access to the services and support they need, and a space for the older members of our community who face their own challenges such as isolation and loneliness. Anzac Day ceremony. Last Friday, Council hosted its annual Anzac Day ceremony, which was attended by over 500 people. This was one of 3 ceremonies to honour our servicemen and women, 2 of which were at Claremont. The Glenorchy ceremony included a reflection on the history of the day by Nick Murnane, President of the Claremont RSL. It also featured contributions by your church pastor, David Morse, the Glenorchy City Council Brass Band, the Cattle Fire Party from the 63rd Army Cadet Unit at Dowsings Point, and Cody Summers, who delivered the Welcome to Country. I'm on the last page, everyone. Federal election commitments to date. So Labor has committed $1.7 million to support the Humphreys Rivulet Rehabilitation Program with a specific focus on weed eradication. $150,000 towards an international food garden that will establish a sustainable community-led space to grow food, foster skills exchange and celebrate cultural heritage. The Liberal Party have promised $150,000 for additional CCTV cameras in key public areas in Moona. Independent Andrew Wilkie is supporting the redevelopment of the pool and upgrades for facilities at KG5 for a modern new clubhouse and indoor training facility for the Glenorchy Cricket Club. Career and Employment Expo. The expo run by the Jobs Hub at My State Arena was a huge hit. It was really successful with over 118 exhibitors and over 2,500 participants through during the day. Not only did the day provide participants with the opportunity to explore a range of job opportunities, it also provided exhibitors an opportunity to network with each other to create and strengthen business relationships. And we're going to share a short video of that day. I hope.
Today is absolutely incredible. The Jobs Hub of Glenorchy has been able to marry this Jobs Expo with 1,500 plus attendees and 116 exhibitors.
Just put our name out there, offer what we have at the moment, and we want young school leaders to get into the industry. Yeah.
This is a great opportunity to connect with job seekers, with women in the community, and also people that work in this space to promote our programs.
It's a great opportunity to potentially get some people in some quality training, but also network and meet some other great providers.
To connect with job seekers, connect with people in our community, and tell them about the great work we do at Nexus.
We just want to meet with both employers and people that are wanting to get into the workplace, ones that are needing that extra little bit of help, that are incapable or don't have the capacity to apply for jobs themselves, or just need that extra little bit of a boost to build their confidence, things like that. But also reaching out to employers just to say, hey, you're always looking for staff, we can help you as well, be a little bit flexible and just be able to find someone to meet your needs.
Yes, that was an absolutely brilliant event, and I think the council is very proud with everyone in our Jobs Hub for pulling that event together. And I just want to stress that it wasn't a mistake before. When I was on that clip, the 1,500 was about 11 o'clock, and by 2 o'clock our actual counters had come up with 2,500 attendees, which is amazing. We're now moving on to item 4, pecuniary interest notification. Does anyone have a pecuniary interest? Thank you, Alderman King.
Item 17, Mayor, thank you.
5 and 17?
17,
Just 17. Thank you. Anyone else? No? Good. Item 5 is response to previous public questions taken on notice. So there was one there from Marla Crew, actually 2, and they're addressed in the agenda. Public question time. Now, this is an ordinary meeting of the council for the primary purpose of elected members debating and deciding on council issues. In accordance with the Local Government Meeting Procedures Regulation, council will allocate 15 minutes during each council meeting to invite members of the public to ask questions relating to the activities of council. Council's full policy is stated in the agenda, but I'd like to bring to your attention the following rules. Members of the public are to announce their name and residential address before asking a question, which will be recorded in the minutes. Questions to be put succinctly and in the form of a question and not a comment. Questions are not to be inflammatory, abusive, defamatory, contain a personal attack or otherwise breach any rules of the meeting which have been explained by the chairperson. The chairperson may limit the number of questions asked by each member of the public in order to ensure that all members of the public wishing to ask questions are given the opportunity within the allocated time. So we only have 2 people in the audience, so I don't think we're going to run out of time. Who would like to come forward there? Thank you very much. Would you like to come forward, Mr. Goodman? Yes, please. Thank you. Take a seat.
Short and snappy today. Can Council provide the local numbers for COVID injuries and deaths as indicated in the Department of Health document D24-155352 sent to General Manager? And the second, has Council sent my second updated document asking for additional testing in the Royal Commission in the COVID-19 response due to data fraud?
Okay, well, as you appreciate, we'll need to take that on notice. So we'll put that in our agenda for next week. Thank you very much. And then, Ms. Ryan, would you like to come to the table? Thank you.
Ms. Brian Montrose. In December 2024, in the Glenorchy Gazette, it was stated, Mayor Sue Hickey said the generous donation being a bequest of $250,000 for youth in Glenorchy from long-time resident Reginald Webb would assist the council in creating a dedicated facility that provided a safe, welcoming space for young people in Glenorchy. The council wants to ensure that young people in Glenorchy have a place to grow, learn and connect, she said. Mayor Hickey said the $250,000 would go towards the fit out of the hub, including equipment, furniture and computers. Other components of the hub will be funded through the council, and there will also be a request to the state government for support. Council has been working hard with local services to create opportunities and activities for young people, but have heard from them that what they really want and need is their own indoor space, Mayor Hickey said. Okay, thank you. I'd like to ask, who gave the advice about the suitability of the golden year, the unsuitability of the golden years site?
Yes, I can get that information for you, CEO.
Through Mayor, I'll just check with the Director.
Yes. So we actually spoke to a few community groups, and we also had our community manager go out and meet with people. The advice was the location wasn't ideal, given it's opposite the Glenorchy police station, and it probably wouldn't lend itself in terms of just pure situational. The other issue was, of course, inside-outside, so we need actually green open space available, and it's a little bit awkward on that site to get the inside-outside activities happening. So we were looking for somewhere which has a more open plan and then inside-outside flow.
It sounds a big ask, and it will be a long time coming. In my opinion. Anyway, that's okay. I won't comment any further.
Thank you.
Just regarding this is not the time for debate.
I understand that. I'm just commenting.
Please proceed. Thank you.
Thank you. Are you able to elaborate on your plans for establishing an urgently needed youth centre?
I think the only thing I can elaborate on, it is part of our discussions quite regularly here at Council. We're very, very conscious that we need one, and we've done some temporary work, as you know, with the little tiny hub, and we're continuing with our on-council activities here. Plus we also have the bike program, we have a skate program, and we have outreach into schools. So we know it's a significant need in this community, as it is probably in most cities. But we are working on a location, and if it comes off, I think you'll be delighted. But I can't promise you anything because we're not at that stage yet. Does anyone want to add to that, CEO, Deputy CEO?
No, I think that's well covered.
Yes, so it's a weekly discussion here at council that I can promise you, and we do not underestimate the importance or the urgency. If we had a magic wand, and if 250,000 was going to buy us a building, I think we would meet all that. But that's going to be a very good starter for equipment.
Right, okay. The second question is, as mentioned in the council statement, has a request been made to the state government to financially support a youth centre in Glenorchy?
Yes, it has, and we also have it in our election request documents and our priorities. So our funding requirements for the next 1 or 2 years, is it, Christine? 1 year. Yes, so it is a big priority, and we're in constant conversation with the state government about our needs, so it's raised there too.
Okay, thank you very much.
But I do thank you for that concern because we share it. Thank you.
Highly concerning, thank you.
Yes, I agree. Okay, we have a question on notice, and that is from Eddie Steenbergen, which is nice to hear. And that one there is often wondered why some people think it's important that Glenorchy is officially a city. And then it goes on with why we've been given city status, and there's currently 6 city councils designated as city councils, and that's in our agenda as well. Now, do we have any petitions addressing council meetings? Thank you. Activities of the Mayor. Who'd like to move this item? Thank you very much, Alderman Alderton, and seconded by Alderman Slade. Would you like to make any comments, Alderman Alderton?
Just as usual, each month we come along and have a look at the activities you've undertaken, and once again I can see you've been quite busy in trying to garner support for many of the projects we're trying to undertake here in the community.
Thank you. Thank you, Alderman Cockshott.
Thank you, Mayor. On Sunday the 13th of April you met with Senator Carol Brown, Montrose Bay. Would you like to elaborate on that meeting, if possible, please?
Yes, that was for a photo opportunity and discussion around the funding that she has garnered for us as an election promise for the 1.7 million to support Humphreys Rivulet Rehabilitation Program, where there's a fair bit of weed at that end of the rivulet, and 150,000 towards an international food garden, which is, a community-led space.
Perfect. Second follow-up is on Monday the 14th, you met with Andrew Wilkie MP for the Glenorchy Moor Memorial Pool. I know you mentioned a bit earlier, but if Mr Wilkie is re-elected, has he given his promise to council to fight for that in Canberra?
If he holds the balance of power, I think that's the magic scenario there. So he came along for a photo shoot, and he's actively promoted that Glenorchy City Council needs a new aquatic facility. So we're very grateful for that support.
Perfect.
Anything else? No? Alderman?
Yes.
No? Alderman King?
On your behalf, Mayor, Alderman Marks and myself attended an activity at Cosgrove High School which relates to the youth in many ways. We've been talking about it was a mountain of, what's it called?
Mountain of Hope.
Mountain of Hope, yeah. Cherubim Puppet Theatre had created this mountain with a big foghorn on it, and the kids put all these little notes on the side of this mountain of their concerns in life. And some of the concerns was just bringing to tears, bullying, nowhere to live, not enough food, etc., etc. Maybe we get the opportunity to share that sometime in a workshop, but it was very moving, and kids recognised that they got problems. These were not just a group of kids, they were sort of randomly selected from the school, Cosgrove School, and it was an incredible event to attend on your behalf. So,
thank you. Yes, I'm sorry I couldn't have made that. As you can see, I do a lot of events, and I can't go to absolutely everything in the community as much as I'd like to, and I'm always grateful when other members, elected members, can go on my behalf or accept a community invitation just on their own bat. So thank you to everyone for the support. Okay, we'll try and get that brought to a workshop, I think, so we can have a look at that. That'd be great. Any further discussion? Thank you. Councillor Kendall.
Thank you. Yeah. I had a question about the Queenborough exhumation meeting with Brad Williams. I just wondered if there were some implications for local residents here in Glenorchy, or if there's anything about that meeting that you can share with us.
It was a fascinating meeting because it talked about how grave sites, you know, some of them, that was an actual private grave site. So there might have been some naughty practices that went on in previous times to maximise productivity. Basically it was that, you know, you could have a development go somewhere and it all looks like it's perfect, and then suddenly the developer digs a little deeper and suddenly hits a coffin or a body or something to that effect, and then the cause and effect of that, what it had on the whole building and how everything had to stop, and then all these bodies, and I for life I can't remember, but there was an awful lot of them, had to be exhumed. And I think they were able to identify approximately 1,000 of them, and 300 odd they couldn't identify. And in some cases they'd been buried, you know, several deep, which was a bit naughty as well. But it was just a really fascinating educational talk for the community, and it had history ramifications obviously as well. But I think from a council's perspective is you really don't know what's under there until you dig. So, any other questions? Yes, Alderman Alston.
Yes, so I just might mention you met with Simon Barakis on the 15th of April, so I wonder if you'd like to share your meeting with Simon Barakis with.
Yes, well, we have regular meetings, the CEO and myself, with Simon Barakis. So over the year, I think it's been, Simon comes about, is it once a quarter? Yes, once a quarter. And we just talk about any activities or any points of interest in the community. So the other day, oh yes, we were basically talking about planning issues, but sometimes we've discussed things like the pool, or we've discussed things like Revive and things like that, but it's usually topical interest, and he gives us feedback on what the government's, you know, what they're processing through Parliament.
So would that include conversations like the antisocial behaviour that's going on, and
it didn't.
and our potential for a youth space, and maybe getting him to throw some words into the Premier's ear in regard to some funding? You haven't had any conversations like that?
No, we didn't at this last meeting. We have had discussions about a youth hub, there's no question about that, and we have had discussions about antisocial behaviour with youth generally, but not last week. Okay. That's all.
Thank you.
Yeah, because, I mean, it wasn't a big issue until today. Right, thank you. It's a building issue. Right, any further discussions? No, so Alderman Alden.
I'll close the debate then.
Thank you. I'll put that to the vote. All those in favour raise your hand. Thank you. Carried unanimously. And now we're moving on to 9, Capital Works Status Report. Who'd like to move this one? Thank you. Councillor Kendall, who would like to second it, please? Thank you. I think I've got Alderman Slade. Thank you. Okay, Councillor Kendall, would you like to address this?
Thank you, Mayor. So the Capital Works report shows expenditure and the progress of projects completed in the 24-25 period, with some budget variations and explanations of why this occurred. It's interesting reading if you want to look at the big heavy-hitting projects that the council's been undertaking. So I'm happy to open this for discussion.
Thank you. Alderman Alston.
Thank you, Mayor. This is actually a good news report. I mean, we've basically got to a stage where we've 90% completed the Shingle Youth Soccer Hub. Stage 1 of the Tolosa Park development's now complete, and we're working on making a start on stage 2. We've had some solar panel installation upgrading completed on the council chambers, which is obviously got to be a good thing as we're contributing towards climate change in respect to trying to be green and clean. And that pretty much is about all I have to say at the moment.
Thank you. Anyone else like to make a contribution? No, I think it was important to note that we have seen significant improvements in supply chain stability, so that should facilitate smoother project execution. So, and also, as was mentioned before, the proactive management of potential delays through strategic procurement and supplier diversification. Very well put. Okay, I'll put that motion. You're fine with that, Councillor Kendall? Oh, sorry.
No, that's right.
You don't need to...
Yep, no, that's fine. I'd like to, support the recommendation. Otherwise, our budget will be out of whack.
Okay, thank you. All those in favour, raise your hand. Thank you. It's carried unanimously. Now, item 10 is the third quarter quarterly committees update. Now, who'd like to open this for debate? Thank you, Alderman Alderton. And I need a seconder.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, thank you, Alderman King. Alderman Alderton.
Okay, thank you, Mayor. Our committees over the quarter have been quite active, where the Access and Inclusion Committee hasn't actually had a meeting, but myself and Alderman Marks got together with council staff, and we're looking at trying to reinvigorate the committee since the passing of Alderman Jan Dunsby, and Lisa is going out to explore community interest to see if we can increase the membership. I've also been involved and had the privilege of going to my first Safer Cities committee meeting. That was a very positive meeting, and we had some very informative stuff shared with us from Metro, a lot of the stakeholders around the community, including Inspector Klug from Tas Police. So I thoroughly enjoyed that, and they've had 2 meetings. Alderman Slade might be able to provide a bit more detail on the earlier meeting.
Thank you. Alderman Slade, do you want to say anything?
Not really. It's written up pretty well, and it's certainly a committee that's getting good representation around the table, Mayor, and we're still looking at ways of advancing how more effective we are, and that includes, of course, perhaps holding the meetings at actually venues for stakeholders. So we really are getting in those good linkages.
Thank you. Alderman King.
Thank you, Mayor. The Emergency Management Committee, just you can see quite a few bullet points there of the things we discussed and processes being put in place. That committee's fairly as well prepared as it can be based on circumstances, and we've got a very good attendance and input to that committee. We are quite open. I've spoken to a few members of the committee, Inspector Klug included, to maybe turn the next one into a workshop, open workshop, or have a emergency management meeting that was an open workshop where people the community could see what we discussed. They might have some comfort as to the council's position around our preparedness for any emergency that might take place.
Thank you. Anyone else like to make any contribution? No. There's an interesting note in there about crime statistics and policing. The overview provided of the results of the Tas Police actions, Operation Swipe and Safe Arrival. Positive feedback received from shop owners and retail workers regarding the December operation. Discussion about youth and shoplifting, including the potential cessation of knife sales at Coles. Safe City Lead provided an update, 2024 CBD crime and antisocial behaviours, downward trend reported in crime statistics, crime, bullying, assaults, etc. Unfortunately, Tas Police were unable to attend, but they have been in touch with us since. And it's interesting, the crime statistics and policing, 20% decrease in total crime statistics compared to previous years. Increased youth offending at Busmore, Northgate and Council Lawns, which we know about. Collaboration with Northgate retailers, increased presence in Glenorchy, that's from the police. Claremont Village experiencing some antisocial behaviour, not as severe as reported on social media. Small group of repeat offenders, approximately 11 youths in Glenorchy, Myrna and 2 to 3 in Claremont. And the inspector told us today that they are not all Glenorchy kids. Road Safety Week upcoming, no significant change in road safety statistics, vehicle seizures, consequences for offenders discussed, and a whole lot of other bits and pieces there. Now, unfortunately, the last 3 weeks haven't been as good, but up until then, we were in a good space. Now, just before we go to the recommendation, if there's no further contributions, I'm to advise that the attachments listed in the incorrect order in the agenda at Part B, but the attachments do appear in the correct order in the slide, recommendation and attachments documents. So I hope you all understand that. Right, who moved this one? Alderman Alderton.
Happy to close debate.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And I'm going to put that to the vote. All those in favour, again carried unanimously. Now this is item 11 is the quarterly report for 2024-25. Yes, Councillor Kendall, thank you. A seconder, please. Thank you to Alderman Marks. So would you like to lead the debate, Councillor Kendall?
Thank you. Yeah, so the quarterly report has come to us for approval. So that's the third quarter of the financial year 24-25, so Jan to March. It's got a summary of all of the huge amounts of work that the council are doing. So there's something for everyone in there if you want to just take a little look at the beautiful snapshots by Kevin Ball in there, or if you're a deep diver, you can dig into how many documents were lodged in the document management framework for the third quarter, but there's just so much work in there, and it's a beautiful report, and most notably, the final report authored by our current CEO, Tony McMillan. So, yeah, congratulations, Tony, and I'll open it for debate. Maybe you'd like to contribute.
Would you like to say something, Tony?
Thank you, Mayor. Just a little bit taken back, but
sorry.
Simply to say that we're pleased with the progress, and obviously I've got a section in there on strategic and operational highlights, which point to the major things that are going on in Q3 of 24-25.
We'll get an autograph copy then. Yes. Do you have any discussion? Okay. Do you have any discussion around the table? No? Well done, Tony. And I'll take it back to Councillor Kendall.
Yep, that's all I've got to say. Just keep you on your toes to the very last minute, Tony.
Thank you. All those in favour, please raise your hand. Thank you. Carried unanimously. Item 12, Procurement Exemptions Report. Okay, I'm looking for a taker. Councillor Kendall. Thank you. Can I have thank you, Alderman Alston? Right. Take it away.
My last turn. So the procurement exemption report just outlines the things that there wasn't an opportunity to seek approval for multiple reasons. Generally, this last report was a variety of lack of responses to tenders. Sometimes there's a lack of competition, or in the case where there's going to be a large service disruption to the business operations of council. So happy to open this one for debate.
Thank you. Do you have any discussion?
No, I think Councillor Kendall summed it up very well. So.
And you have for me to put that to the vote? Okay, thank you very much. So all those in agreement, please raise your hand. It's carried unanimously. Item 13, notices of motion, questions on notice or without notice. Do we have any? Thank you.
Over the past 13 days, we've had a number of violent acts in our community that have been cowardly, gutless and somewhat distressing. During this time, a number of community members have contacted me directly, and the sentiment of community, our community being scared to literally just go shopping and afraid of the ramifications that could come from that, or be a part of or involved in the incident. It's not happening, and it's been an increasing happening in the last number of weeks, like we've mentioned just prior. So it's been 13 days since the first incident, and I'm just wondering, until this afternoon, council never provided any comment around the incidents, and have been silent and failing, and still have failed to publicly condemn the incidents. So I'm wondering why we've been so silent for so long.
Well, these are CIB matters, as we've been reassured by the inspector today, and the last one that you referred to is apparently a great tragedy between two young men unknown to each other. It was an accident, it's not a crime. I mean, it is a crime in the sense that somebody has been killed, but it's a moment in time. It is not, a targeted offence. A young boy lost his life. That's a CIB matter as well, for driving on the road. I think it might have been referred back to traffic now. And I can't remember the other one.
Motorbike.
No, the moped was the first one.
No, motorbike, yeah,
Oh, yes. And that was a crime matter where they were chasing an offender.
So to clarify the events, I'm talking about the incident that happened in Big W 13 days ago. Then there was another incident that happened in Northgate, and then there was another incident that's happened today.
Right, and we always publicise if something's happened to our own, what do we call it, infrastructure. But we have not been contacted for comment on any of those, and as the police inspector pointed out today, nobody has made a complaint except for the man that was down the bottom of Northgate. No one's made a complaint, so he cannot investigate anything without a complaint. He is quite frustrated, like I think the rest of us are. But if we take statistics in their totality, we've actually had quite a good year and we've had a heightened moment of activities, but we can only respond if it's in our bailiwick and these definitely in our community, affecting our community. But I'm not certain what sort of response you would have, and it would have to go through communications, and I haven't been asked by any media until today to make any responses. And there'll be some sort of response tomorrow.
Second question, in the middle of last year, council had had a firm and strong stance and an action plan to move forward to protect our people and the business owners in our city. In October, we were meant to have a safer community roundtable from all levels of government and interested parties, not just the business owners, but from levels of government and interested parties. This was postponed in October, and I was advised that the council was rethinking its strategy, and it's now been 8 months and nothing. It appears we have dropped the ball in leading our community from where we were when we were leading the community. Have the issues been resolved to lead, and have this safer community roundtable been rescheduled for another time?
Not to my notice, because there wasn't any interest in it at the time. And as I've read previously, all of the stats, and we have an extra 5 police, we have more noticeable, visible policing. We've got 2 vehicles we've had out today. We've had police on patrol, which Glenorchy has never had. So we are working very, very closely. We have a couple with a cop just 2 weeks ago, and another one, I think 2 weeks before that. Inspector Klug is very visible on the footpaths around Boston. I can't remember the actual reasons for that round table with the governments, but at the time something else was going on and it just, no one wanted to go to it. So do we have anything else to say on that?
No, through you, Mayor, we couldn't get the interest from the thought leaders, I suppose, and politicians to attend. And thank you, Deputy Mayor, we will revisit that now, given recent events. I think we've probably got some impetus now. But as you said, Mayor, our statistics were starting to trend downwards, so things were okay for a little while. But
Yes, in fact we were looking quite good. Perhaps we got a bit smug and hopeful that things were going to continue. But yeah, we are definitely having regular meetings. We're also putting on another person in our youth lead space. So we're really, really active in trying to address this. But we have to remember, this is not the bailiwick of council, except that we take it on board as a reputational issue. So we roads, rates, rubbish and reputation. And from that point of view, we don't want to see anyone harmed. We don't want the city having a bad reputation. And we certainly don't want anyone frightened. But we can't go out into the public saying statements without facts. And the facts come from the police and from the minister. And it's interesting that we haven't had any of the members of Clark raise the issue except one today. So, do you want an answer to that, or do you accept that answer?
I'm happy to, whatever the answer is.
Okay, I think we might put that in writing then, if that's okay, thank you. Any other questions or notice? Thank you.
Yes, I have a couple of questions, thank you, Mayor. The first one relates to the tragic events that happened at Main Road, Osmonds Ferry, not far away from my residence, going down towards the bottom of 10 Mile Hill. I noticed today that there's been a shrine set up there by obviously the friends and family of the young fellow that was tragically killed in that location. It appears, and I'll get you to confirm whether this is correct or not, there's some works being undertaken there today, some 40k signs out. I assume council's repairing the traffic island space and maybe removing some of the messages and possibly the flowers, etc. Is that us doing that work or somebody else?
Could you mind if I ask the CEO to ask the Deputy CEO, because I'm not certain.
Through you, Mayor, we have been aware of the shrine and we've been monitoring the situation. In fact, we did discuss it with the police about whether we move to remove it as yet or not. Inspector Klug actually he drives past that regularly, and he's been monitoring it, and he has stopped and talked to the people who have been meeting there. I guess the thought is that we leave it in place until after the funeral, which is on Wednesday, and then after that consider whether we move it to, there's a safer location down the road. But in the meantime, the 40km/h signs have been put out just to build awareness and to slow people down in that area. After Wednesday, there will be some work, the barriers will be put back in place.
Okay.
And your second question?
And my second question relates to that piece of road there. Now, I can't remember the exact dates, I wasn't on council very long, but in recent times we approached state growth and moved the motion to reduce the speed limit down to 50 k's in a number of the streets in the municipality. Main Road was given consideration and state growth changed the speed limit to 50 k's. However, it stops at the roundabout where Whitestone Drive is, and continuing down 10 Mile Hill, it increases back up to 60 k's. There's quite heavily dense housing down along and off Sanctuary Road around Sharon Drive and Jarks Road, which winds back up, but it's quite heavily used. I live in that area. At times, the cars go through there. It's like a racetrack. Has council given consideration to maybe us workshopping and coming up with, I was going to put a motion up tonight, but I decided not to. I thought we need to talk about it first. Would council give a consideration to reduce the speed limit or request that state growth reduce the speed limit to 50 k's from the point where it now currently sits at 60 to maybe at the very least to turn off a Sanctuary Drive, because we've had 3 fatalities on that stretch of road since I've lived in that area. Or maybe we could extend the 50 k's down to the other end of Sharon Drive where it meets the service station on the left-hand side. Would council give that some consideration?
Certainly would, but let's ask the Deputy CEO.
Thank you, Mayor. We would be happy to put that on the list for the next round of speed limit reviews. We do have a couple of others that we're going to review, so we'll be happy to put that on the list and assess it to see if it meets the criteria for reduction.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you for raising it. Thank you, Alderman Slope.
I'm just pleased to hear that through the Deputy CEO, Mayor, because when we did do the movement of those down to 50, a lot of them had been 60 for a long time, and people now have come to just those, but I'm having a lot of feedback from the ones in between that are still 60, and realistically, heavy flows of traffic I'm talking about near my place, along the main road there at Rosetta, Berridale, etc. So I think that time of having a look at that is probably very appropriate and consistent and makes less, let's say, on the driver, inconsistent. It becomes more consistent. So I'm pleased to hear that. Thank you.
Yep. Any further questions? No? Okay. Yes, we're now moving into closed council, so moved by Alderman King, seconded by Alderman Riggler. All those in favour? Right, raise your hand. Carried unanimously. So we'd like to thank Mrs. Ryan for attending, and I'm afraid we're going to have to close the council to the public. It brings our recording to an end. Good night.